Hello everyone, welcome to Urbanscape Bangalore, and in this episode we will be talking about the Amaryllis. A lot of you actually think that this is a lily, which is not completely true. It is not a true lily and is distantly related to the lily family. It is a native of South Africa. It is a summer to spring blooming plant that needs warmth to bloom. So if you live in a frost affected area, then store your bulbs in a cool, dark place in your house and then repot it when the days become warmer. For people living in tropical areas like India, you can just leave it as is. Some amaryllis sprout leaves first and then bloom, the other bloom first and then forms the leaves. So you need not worry if you see only leaves coming out first. The amaryllis blooms generally during the end of February to the beginning of March when the temperature outside increases. Depending on the size of the bulb, it can get 2 or more flower stalks. Each flower stalk will contain multiple flowers. Once the flower dies out, the leaves start storing all the necessary energy during the rainy season, and then the leaves also die out and the bulb becomes dormant to save up that energy during the winter months, and then springs up with these lovely blooms again during the start of summer next year. The amaryllis is a full sun-loving plant and also can be grown indoors where it can receive really bright sunlight. Preferably, keep it in the southwest direction. The secret to keeping the blooms on for a longer time is indirect sunlight. The more direct sun, the less number of days the flowers will survive. It is an excellent drought-tolerant plant, and the amaryllis loves being on the drier side than being wet, which might cause it to rot. I have seen this plant on roadsides where it is highly neglected, but still only with some rainwater that it gets during the rainy season, it produces blooms during the spring. So that's how drought-tolerant this plant is. The carpenter bees love this plant. So now let us get to the propagation of this plant and other growing conditions this plant likes. So this can be easily propagated with the help of bulb division. It gives out offsets and we can easily propagate it with the help of these offsets. Now for the propagation you would need a bulb like this, which almost looks like an octopus. There are hundreds and thousands of amaryllis varieties and the bulbs differ in shape and size depending on the variety. While planting the bulb, make sure you place the flat portion of the bulb on the soil and expose the tapered portion from where the flower stalks arise. So my advice would be that do not cram a lot of bulbs in one container like this. Depending on the size of the container, you can add as much as you want. So a small sized container like this would need just one bulb so that the bulb grows bigger and you get more flower stalks from it. If you have a bigger pot, then use 4 or more accordingly. And I always prefer a terracotta or a clay pot because 1. It looks good, 2. It lets the soil dry out quickly, which this plant likes. Avoid plastic containers because it tends to hold a lot of water. Now this is the best time to sow your amaryllis bulbs because by next year towards the end of March, the amaryllis will start blooming. For this, always have a container with a drainage hole and cover it with a drainage material like this. Now for the potting mix, I will add 40% sand, 30% soil and 30% compost. Mix well and do not fill up the container up to the brim before adding the bulb. Once you place the bulb on the surface of the mix, now slowly backfill, making sure that you do not cover the neck of the bulb and exposing some portion of the bulb like this. If you sow your amaryllis deeper, what will happen is soil and water will enter the neck area and it will not bloom. Now compress the soil and make sure that the bulb is well anchored in the soil medium because any movement might delay the flowering. Now you can add fertilizer to this immediately after repotting. Use half a teaspoon of seaweed fertilizer or any other liquid fertilizer in a liter of water and apply it directly into the soil. You can fertilize your Amaryllis either with compost or such fertilizers once every month till August, and stop fertilizing during the winter months when the plant goes dormant. Water the plant every day and let it dry out before re-watering, especially when it is indoors. Staking of this plant might be required if you live in a windy area and if the stalk is too long. So that is not all. There is a lot of aftercare you might want to do after the flower has finished blooming, which will be covered in another episode. So with this, we have come to the end of yet another episode of Urbanscape Bangalore, and I hope you've all enjoyed this program. And if you did enjoy this, please let me know by liking, sharing and subscribing. And also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. The link will be given below. So thank you for watching Urbanscape Bangalore. Until we meet again, a very warm Amaryllis goodbye.